Happy Sunday. It's time for today's Polkadot Markets update. In fact, this week's one, because as you know, on this channel every Sunday I do a Polkadot Markets update just to see how the prices are looking like and where could we be going based on support and resistance without using indicators, except for the 200-day moving average, which I think is important. So we'll kick things off with NEER from BitCountry Pioneer, then we'll talk about MOVR from Moonriver, GLMR from Moonbeam, PHA or FA from Phala Network, KMA from Calamari, Kusama, and Polkadot. And we'll also take a look at AUSD at the end as well, because I think it's worth talking about. But let's kick things off with NEER here from BitCountry Pioneer. As you can see, we are still in a downtrend here. It's not looking great ever since we had this nice uptrend here up to 58 cents. In fact, just over 58 cents. We've had a lot of sell-off here, and then we had another push to the upside, because usually after a major sell-off like that you do get a bit of a pop, especially if there's some news. So we had that, but looking at the 200-day moving average, it didn't look like we were planning to go back up anytime soon, because this does take time before it reacts anyway. So we would have needed a major pump for this to actually come back, so the likelihood of that would have been pretty slim. So as you can see here, we are still on the downtrend. The MA 200, it doesn't look like it wants to recover in any way, but you never know, right? It all depends on the catalyst. You could see some sort of catalyst here, and I believe that catalyst is going to happen sometime in November. We are only like, what, 1 day away, 2 days away now from November. I mean, tomorrow is Halloween, and then we're going to be in November, but I'm not expecting the updates to happen at the beginning of November. It's more like mid to the end of November, in my opinion, at least to the chaos land, although that's not as bullish as other updates, such as metaverse is being created for content creators and for people of influence in the crypto space who have a lot of followers and are going to bring them there. Then we also have KuCoin and Gate, who are also going to launch their metaverses, likely sometime in November too, because it is in development. So I think when all this is going to happen, plus let's not forget the HRMP channel being open between BitCountry Pioneer and other parachains. The Moonriver one is going to be the first channel that's going to open, which means that we're going to be able to teleport our NEER over to the Moonriver blockchain, to the Moonriver parachain, under the name XC-NEER. But not only that, also the BIT token. So the BIT token, which is the token of the BitCountry metaverse, which is also going to be tradable on various dexes on Moonriver network under the name XC-BIT. So yeah, there we go. You have it now. So let's talk about the price here. 38.7 cents at the moment. As you can see, there is some support here. We've got support at 37 cents with this major order here of 22,982. Also at 38 cents with 29,527. So all in all, up to 52k here, which is not going to be easy to break. There's not going to be a lot of selling pressure, I think, because a lot of the sellers, looking at the historical chart here, a lot of the sellers have gotten out already if they wanted to get out, and it looks like 37 cents has formed a really nice support area here. So for the resistance, I am expecting some resistance around 42 cents, because we had seen that before when we got to 42 cents and then it just pulled back straight away. But now we've also got some at 40 cents. So I think it's going to take a while for us to break the 40 cents resistance, and then after that we're off to the races. I think up to around 48 cents where we'll encounter a bit more resistance here, as you can see, and then up to 51 cents. But that's still a long way away, and we need to see some major trigger for us to actually go that high. For example, if the BIT token would be of high value, for example, then that would drive buying pressure of NEER, because people would want to stake it to be able to generate BIT. And let's not forget, to actually generate BIT, you don't even need to stake for long. I mean, if you stake in the current round, by the following round you'll already be generating BIT, which is bullish in my opinion, because there's no long waiting period to generate it. And then aside from that, if you want to unstake, you are free to unstake very soon as well. Like if you are in a current round and you decide to hit that unstake button, you can then claim or redeem your NEER the following round. So say for example, if there are like 30 minutes left in the current round before it goes into the next round, if you hit that on stake in that current round, even though there are 30 minutes left, as soon as it goes into the following round, you can redeem that NEER. So you're literally just waiting 30 minutes to get that NEER back, of course. But this is assuming that you've already been staking and you just want to get out, right? So that flexibility in itself is pretty bullish, and that's what's driving a lot of people to stake. And it's like over 4.3 million, I believe, last I checked, or over 4.5 million NEER that have been staked, which is pretty good. So yeah, I mean, it's going to take a while to see this, but I'm assuming a couple of weeks at most. And then we're going to see some major catalyst for NEER. If we still don't see it, then something else is wrong. But to me, I think that's when we're going to see the catalyst. Let's move on and talk about MOVR here. So MOVR has been getting a lot of these spikes, as I've been telling you, and I actually found out the reason for these spikes, these wicks. And it's because of Moonsama, apparently. So people that are selling Moonsama are dumping, and hence why we're seeing the wick down, and people that are buying the Moonsama are buying MOVR off the market here on KuCoin and are pumping the price, and that's why you are seeing these spikes. These are when Moonsamas get bought. When Moonsamas get sold, then you'll see the wick down. So that's how it works. But overall, I mean, looking at the price, it's holding okay, around $11 here. I am not expecting Moonriver to revisit that $500 range ever again, to be honest, simply because the Canary network situation is kind of, you know, gone. It's not there anymore. I mean, it's okay for testing purposes, but you're not seeing development on the Canaries anymore, and this applies to everything now, not just Moonriver. And so to me, I think that the Canaries are eventually going to have some sort of merger. I mean, I can expect a one token model or a one coin model on both the Canary and the main parachain. I don't think we're going to continue to have two different coins on two different parachains, because it just doesn't make sense for sustainability purposes. So yeah, looking at this, I mean, we've got resistance around $12 here, a lot of resistance at $12, in fact, because we've got this one, we've got this one, all of this here. It's a lot of it. I mean, look at this, it's a whole lot of it. Then we have a lot more at around 13.5 and at 14 as well. So $12, 13 and 14. So yeah, Moonriver is not looking good here. It's gonna struggle to break all these resistance points, but we do have support around $10. This is the next support line, and then we have the other one down at $9, where we saw this major dip here, and we bounced right back up here from $9.20 all the way up to $11.50. So that was pretty good. It shows you there's still a lot of buying pressure here. It was obviously somebody selling a large bag of MOVR. They wanted to get out. They've had enough. They said, I'm getting something else. Boom, sold. And then the bots and the believers bought back up here. So yeah, I am expecting MOVR to still do okay-ish in the next bull run. I'm not saying it's going to be completely dead. But what I'm saying is I don't expect it to revisit $500. I mean, it could even go to 140. I believe 140 could be achievable if Bitcoin is at 70K. But yeah, I don't expect 500. Next up, let's look at GLMR here, 49 cents. Now, I don't mean to be the bringer of bad news, but just remember that from the 12th of November, there's going to be a major unlock when it comes to GLMR. We're talking about over 20 million coins in circulation. And out of those, who knows how many people are going to be selling. So I'm expecting a bit of a dip, a bit of a pullback on that event, on that day. Because remember, those people that are selling have bought GLMR at the seed sale, at the private sale, very, very low. So because they bought so low, they're still in profit. They can afford to sell at these prices, which may seem low to you, simply because they're already in major profit and they're going to be reinvesting. Remember, VCs don't care about the projects. They just invest and they want to make money. They want to be in profit so that they can reinvest in something else and then enjoy life, you know, and then basically live like kings. Let's put it this way. So that's how they do. They don't really care about projects. It's the sad truth, but the majority don't. They say they support them, but they don't. They just want to make profit. And a lot of you are in it for the profit as well, right? How many people are really in it for the tech 100%? Not many people. A lot of people are in it for the profit. That's why you're seeing the memes do so well. That's why you're seeing Dogecoin do so well, and Shiba. And all these solid ecosystem projects are absolutely rubbish when it comes to price. But they're developing, they're delivering, but nobody cares about them because nobody's buying them, right? This is my purpose. This is my point. So yeah. Let's talk about this. So 51 cents would be the next resistance line, but because of that unlock on the 12th of November, and I mean, we're talking about 13 days left, I'm not too confident that we can break past this. And even if we do, then we are going to face support here, which may be good for us, right? Especially holders. We will have more resistance points though. One is at 56. Should we go higher? It all depends on Bitcoin, because in 12 days or 13 days, in 13 days, if Bitcoin goes higher, then of course GLMR is going to go higher because it moves with the market. So it's going to touch all these resistance points, but unless it breaks these resistance points, you may not see a lot of buying pressure. But when it breaks them, then it's going to be good, because when it does, and then when the unlock happens, then those resistance points are going to act as support. So even if there's going to be a dump way below 50 cents, because we now have 50 cents as the resistance point, if there's not like multiple selling pressures, then it may hold and we may just see it bounce back up. So that could be good, right? I'm not saying that it's all doom and gloom and we're going to see 20 cents or 25 cents for sure. There's a high probability we're going to see 25 cents when that unlock happens, but it's not guaranteed. Next, let's talk about Phala here. So Phala, just as expected, I've said to you last Sunday as well when I spoke about this. I mean, I expected that this is going to continue to dump, because think about it. Look at this. I mean, this is common sense here. I'm not trying to be, pessimistic or anything, but look at this. I mean, even from 10 cents, like anyone who bought from early September at 10 cents, they had plenty of time to buy until 13th of October. So they had over a month to accumulate Phala. What do you think here? I mean, of course they're going to sell, right? I mean, look at this. When you're seeing this kind of pump in a bear market, a bull market style pump, because this was a pump and dump by the looks of it. This was way too manipulative here. Look at this. I mean, this is the clear sign of a pump and dump, and this is the ripple effect of the pump and dump because it dumped too much. And of course, stakers are going to sell now. So they're going to undelegate from the staking from the validators, and they're going to sell. And that's why you're seeing the massive selling pressure here, because anyone who bought in between 10 cents and 7 cents on the way down, is in profit. So why not? 60% still. So I'm expecting a pullback here to about this area here of 11 cents, and then maybe even lower after, depending on what news they're going to have. But to me, like, I want to buy a lot of Phala if it retests 10 cents. I mean, to me, at 10 cents, that's a huge buy signal for Phala. Not financial advice, but that's me. I want to get bags of Phala at 10 cents because I know that this is a good project and long term it's going to do well. I think we're going to have another one of these, but a natural one, an organic one, not a pump and dump. So yeah, that's the reason why I want one of these, because I like what the team are building. They're also going to work on the metaverse now, Phala World. They're going to launch that soon as well. So you could expect some great things to happen. Remember, these guys are also on Binance. They've got FAT contract as well, which is that special type of smart contract which allows off-chain computations for faster interaction. So, technically speaking, they are good. So that's the reason. And also they've got, I think, the largest number of cloud computers in Web3, last I heard in an interview, so from one of their team members. So yeah, there's definitely a bullish reason to own Phala. But to me, like, as a brand new, like, I don't hold any Phala right now. So if I want to get Phala, I'm going to wait for that pullback. I'm not going to buy in now. I'm not going to rush in and be a victim of the whales or of the people who have been staking and just dumping the rewards. Next, let's talk about Calamari here. So Calamari is also starting to see a downtrend now. The MA 200 hasn't started moving down yet because it is a bit delayed. But I mean, looking at this dump here, it's pretty obvious that it had its moment already. This is very similar to the NEER chart, actually. If we look at the NEER chart here, this is exactly what Calamari is doing now. It's pretty much at this point. So I think you can expect a dump further down here. And yeah, I'm thinking we're going to see a dump further down here. I'm expecting the price to get to maybe 0.002, because we do have support around this area. And remember, there's still a lot of there's still high APY when it comes to staking Calamari. So there's going to be a lot of selling pressure from those stakers and the collators because they want to get the profit straight away. So yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot more selling pressure. I think the hype is gone now. It had its moment. It lasted for a while, and now the cycle is going to switch here, and it's going to dump. That's the reality. So expect 0.002 because that's where we've got a lot of support. And then if we are going to dump lower, then expect this area here, which is going to be 0.0017, which has a lot of support here because it's been accumulating for quite some time. Let's move on and talk about Kusama. So Kusama hasn't had the same love as DOT. It's still trying to break past this resistance area, and it's got plenty of resistance, of course, around this area here. But once it does, then you could expect it to get back to around $42-43, which I hope it does. Of course, everyone hopes, but I mean, right now with the if you look at the situation with Kusama, we all know that there's no love right now for Kusama because there are no crowd loans. Now maybe they are building on it, but they're not launching the crowd loan. So because of that, nobody's locking up KSM. So there's no reason to buy KSM except for the teams that are buying KSM to extend their lease for their existing parachains. And we're seeing that happen from time to time, right? I mean, another lease is due to expire now at the end of October, you know, but there's also the unlock. So, you know, and those people have already extended their lease a few months ago. So, I mean, a lot of the people that extended their lease, I think, happened here. Because as you can see, we've traded sideways after this dump, and then we started to push back up a bit. So I think around here there was some buying pressure from teams to extend their lease. A lot of them did it in September, so that's the reason. And yeah, now it's just down, down, down. And let's see how the market reacts with that unlock tomorrow, because I know people are going to be shorting this. Some people are going to be shorting it because they think it's going to dump more, but the last 2 times that happened, it didn't dump. So I'm not so sure if it is going to dump, right? It is a different situation now, but also people that have contributed to those crowd loans and had bought KSM for them, if they didn't already have KSM back in October or September, no, November, sorry, back in November of 2021, those people bought KSM for a lot of money. It was like over $400, close to $500 back then. So, I mean, do they really want to sell at this price? So that's probably the reason why you're not seeing a lot of selling pressure. Of course, some will, but how many will really, right? So, I mean, the lack of crowd loans is one of the major problems here when it comes to Kusama's price, because that's ultimately what determines it. Let's talk about DOT. So DOT has been doing very, very well here. Look at this. I mean, after this massive catalyst here, it saw a dump, which is the big pullback here. And then if you would have bought here, on the way back up, you would have been in great profit from 630 to 670 just for a trade because of this rip here, because it broke the previous resistance. And every time you get a rip like this to the upside with breaking previous resistance is normally a good idea, again, not financial advice, to buy on the pullback when it starts to go back up. So around this area here, because this was a clear sign that we weren't going to go down even further. So around here, you could see that major green candle. Let me zoom in a bit so you can see that green candle here, which means that the trajectory was to go up again and to actually break past this last high here. So that's exactly what happened. So this is for a safe trade, of course, for a safe trade, because you know that it's likely it has more fuel in the tank. So yeah, and don't forget that even though there aren't many crowd loans on Polkadot either, so we're in the same situation as with Kusama, they're building, but they're not ready yet, so it's going to take time. There will be common good parachains, which is going to create a utility for DOT holders. And because of that, I mean, you could continue to see buying pressure for DOT. And many people may argue with me that Kusama has the advantage in terms of market cap, but then look at what's actually happening in terms of the building, in terms of the development. So it's DOT that's getting the love. It's not Kusama, unfortunately, because of the situation with the Canary networks. Because most of the development is happening on Polkadot, and so yeah, Kusama is kind of starting to become that testing ground, unfortunately. It's sad to hear that, but that's the reality, and I'm just going to tell you the reality. And let's take a look at the AUSD as well as the last point in this video, and then we'll continue talking about this next Sunday to find out what's going on. So yeah, looking at the USD here, I'm actually surprised that this went from 54 cents to 67 to 68 in fact, and it's still holding around this price, because basically the Acala team have pretty much abandoned the USD pegging. Okay, they've said it very clearly in that video. I mean, that video from Betty Chen, which she even tweeted, if you watch that video, you know that they've abandoned the pegging when it comes to KuCoin. They don't care about it anymore. They're waiting for the community to bring that pegging back because of the economic situation. They don't have enough money to pump into KuCoin and bring that pegging back, because they would need to pump a lot of money into KuCoin, right? A lot of money. I mean, let's take a look at this when it loads now. Yeah, I mean, you can understand why they're not doing it, because of the situation. But also, this is actually putting a bad image on them, because they've been promoting AUSD as the stable coin of Polkadot for so long now, and they've planned integrations with parachains, and you know, and just abandoning it like that is not a good image for the community. So yeah, they would need to pump over 300k here just to bring the pegging back, but probably closer to 1 million, because when you get to 1 here, it also includes the 101, 102, 103 prices, right? So it's got those orders as well. And so I could expect maybe close to 1 million to be pumped into this, and you don't want to spend $1 million to bring this back, and it's a shame, but that's the reality. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about in today's video. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy your Sunday. Take care. Bye bye.